This is an actual deal that we did in our boots on the ground program. This is where we find the properties, we build them for you, we tenant them for you, and property manage them for you, and you get the cash flow. So I get a lot of requests about this. So I wanted to walk through all of the numbers so that you guys can see what a deal actually looks like, how the numbers break down, and how you can use this strategy to build cash flow for yourself and your family for the rest of your life. So if all you did was learn this one strategy, you could go out within the next 90 days and build, an extra $1,000 a month of cash flow, and continue to build upon that, do more deals. It all just starts with one deal, and we'll talk about that. It's worth 170. We bought it for 90, put in 30 with a HELOC. How much time did that rehab take, or the total process? I want to say with time, you want to budget a longer amount of time than you think it'll take to get done, especially if you're using lending, you're using financing, because there are fees, mortgage interest, and different costs associated with things like a hard money loan. So you want to budget in an additional amount of time. A deal like this will take you about 4 months, and we'll talk about why. But this will take you about 4 months to execute on. You could, in terms of budgeted time, you could certainly execute on the right deal like this in like 30 days. If you really run a tight ship, and if the property is ready, you get the rehab done quickly, you get the inspections done quickly, 30 to 60 days, you could do this. You could do this within that 90-day window. But I would budget 4 months to be safe, to be conservative. But this deal went pretty fast. The mortgage all in, taxes, insurance, because we're doing this in Philly, which is where the boots on the ground program is. That's where we build houses for you. And it's a very low tax city comparatively to other places like Jersey, maybe New York, upstate New York at least, but definitely Jersey, definitely places like California, some rural areas. Philly is very low in taxes. So all in, we're at $1,099. That's all in. Taxes, insurance, mortgage, interest, like all of that stuff, all your fees, right? Then we have the rent. So what rent did we get for this property? And this property, by the way, is it's 3 beds, 1 bath. And you'll see, I'm gonna write it like that because that's how you'll see it in a listing. It's a 3-1, 3 beds, 1 bath, right? So this 3-bed, 1 bath in this zip code, because rents have gone up substantially over the course of time, this 3-bed, 1 bath is renting for $1,911 a month. That was the approved rent that we got for this property. Now, the cool thing about this is this same property, because of the zip code that it's in, I would say 2 years ago, this property would rent for $1,300 a month. But because rates went up, I tell you guys, the market is constantly ebbing and flowing, and it's adjusting to itself. As interest rates went up, rents started going up to offset the cost of carrying the property, to offset this higher cost. So the rents went up so much that the spreads are back. You can make $1,000 a month in cash flow off of one deal. In fact, I was just talking to several of my mentees earlier today who are in the Boots on the Ground program about a deal we sent out that has that level of cash flow. And they're like, yeah, $1,000. Like, Brian, how should I think through this deal? I'm like, well, if you leverage $8,000 to get $1,000 a month, how many people would take that bet? I'm taking that. If I have to put out, if I said, hey, give me $8,000, I'm gonna asset back it with $170,000 property. Give me $8,000, you guys, and I'm gonna give you $1,000 a month in cash flow. You can do whatever you want with it, and you have a property that you own. Would you take that? A lot. I mean, what else would you do? What else are you thinking about doing? If you put $8,000 in your 401k and you got a 7 or 8% return, that's like $650 a year. We're talking about taking that $8,000, putting it in real estate, getting an asset, tax losses, deductions, and then getting cash flow. It's a no-brainer when you learn this thing. There is no better place for the average person to put their money and to do well and to get cash flow today that can support you in saving more money to do more deals, or even early retirement, getting out of the rat race, okay?